Welcome back. So we have been building our client-side routing library. You haven't watched the previous video, the link will be in the description as well as in one of the corners over here. I'm not sure we can have that. But let's do a quick recap of what we have done so far in the previous video. Basically, in the last video, we managed to capture click events from anchor tag, and we prevent the default behavior of that click event so that it does not navigate through a browser navigation. But we do a client-side routing using a history API. So we intercept that, we prevent default, and then we use history API to push a new URL to the location bar or to the history stack. And of course, we also have to match the routes to match the new URL to see what's the latest new component to show on the screen. And then with that, we update the DOM. Right? In this video, we're gonna talk about some leftover problems that we had in the last one, which is every time when we match the routes, we run the component, then we query for all the anchor tags on the screen, and then add event listeners. But we never remove them. So this will cause a memory leak issue because we just keep adding them. They are still holding. We still have functions that's holding reference from the node itself. So that could cause issue. And that's what we're gonna do in this video. But yes, just now I had a but, right? A bit too fast, but yeah, but wouldn't that be easy to do that? We can keep a reference of all the anchor tags that we've matched before, just like we keep a reference of the components that's on the screen right now, the component instance on the screen right now. And when we do component.destroy, to remove the previous component, we also do like loop through the anchor tags and search and then remove event listeners. Wouldn't that be easy? Yes, I think that's the solution to solve this problem. But actually, query for all the event anchor tag and add event listeners has a slight issue that we didn't encounter yet. But I'm going to show you what it is about. So here, say if I am in my components over here, I'm gonna have a script section where I'm gonna have a variable called show more links to false. Okay, so if we're gonna show more links, then I'm gonna show links to the C routes. So here I'm gonna C routes, go to C. I hope you are smiling right now because you probably know what issue is gonna uncover right now. Gonna add a check box, type checkbox, bind check equals to show more links. Save this. So when I turn this on, you'll see go to C. If I don't have, then don't have it, right? So when I first go to this page, I match the route and on the query selector find all the anchor tags. I only find 2, right? And I can dynamically show more. And as I show more, if you come over here, you click, you realize that we navigated to a new page. We missed this one out, right? We missed this one out. So we cannot just query, and we have to figure out every time there's an update, every time when there's an update, we need to find all the anchor tags again. And there's another issue, like here, if I have show more links like this, initially there's no links. If initially it's true, there's all the links, and I can click and navigate, that's correct, right? Click and navigate, there's no browser navigation. There's another issue, when I click back, it does not reflect. We're gonna solve it in the next one. But over here, click and navigate, you realize that if I hide and show again, then I click, now it's not the client-side navigation anymore. We didn't use history API. Why? Well, when you hide something and you show it again, when you hide something in Svelte, if you use the if block, when you set the condition to false, what happens is that it will actually destroy and remove all these elements. And when you set it to true again, then you actually create a new element itself. You create a new component instance, new element instance. They are not the same anymore. So we did hijack or intercept the click events on the previous links, but if you click and just remove it and add it back again, it's not adding back. It's add a new elements that looks like it's showing back up, but it's entirely new link. So these links also we didn't manage to attach event listeners. So it seems like there's a lot of scenarios that we need to be aware of when there's a link, when we create a new link that on the screen, right, dynamically. So either we able to narrow them down and then find all these instances and query selector all to attach these event listeners on all the links, or we don't attach listeners to the link itself, attach to the body itself. So whenever you click on the body, we figure out whether the current target that you're clicking on is within a link. Is a link. Well, the word within a link, why I said within a link is that sometimes you may be having something like this, a span within a link. Then when you click on here, we click on AAA, it's actually clicking on the span element rather than a link element. Well, you're clicking on a span element that is within the link, right? So either case, whether you're clicking on the link itself, here is just the link, clicking on the link itself, or any elements that's within the link, you should treat it as clicking on the link and then do the history.push. We should intercept the default behavior and then use that thing, right? So we're gonna change our implementation over here. Sorry to jump in, but I got an important thing to tell you, which is that if you're following along, coding along with me, the code for all this is on the GitHub repo. Link in the description. Just follow along. If you miss any steps, each changes are in individual commits. So you can just check out that commit and take a look at what you are missing. Now follow along, right? So we're gonna change our implementation over here, which means we don't have to do this in the mesh route anymore. We can take this out and add it over here, right? So we can just do it once. So previously we do it in mesh route. So every time when you click on any routes, we match the routes again. So we do it on every time. But here when you do it, since we're gonna add it on the body itself, then we can just do once, right? Where the body, I think I'm just gonna add on the window itself. Add event listener, click. Not sure whether there's much difference. If you know there's a difference, let me know. I believe the current window, the document, well, like the body itself is the entire content already, and then yeah, I'm not really sure the difference, but I feel Windows is the most easiest, so I'm gonna just do that. But if you know the differences, do let me know. So here I have the click event. Then I need to comment these things out first. So first thing I need to find is the events.target. Click target. So console log click target. Here, if I click on anything, it shows me the click target. As I said just now, I click on AAA. That's why I click on. Let's see. Let me pull it up a bit. Pull it wider. So if I click on here is the H1 heading. If I click on go to is I click on the anchor tag. If I click on AAA is I click on the span itself, right? So I need to capture all the cases where it is clicked within the link. So the click events or target gives me the element that starts the event, which is a thing that I click. And usually it's the deepest element it is. So here I click on the span, the link, anything, right? So there's another property called events.currentTarget. Then this is slightly different. This is the one that is the event listeners is listening to. So this one is actually will give us the window. So that's why I'm using an event.target, just to let you know the differences. In most cases, to you maybe it's the same, but yeah, it's slightly different. So here we have our click target. I'm gonna see whether we have a, let's see, target dots find. So first of all, this is the event target. I'm gonna figure a way to see whether we can know whether it's within the anchor tag. I think we just keep finding the parent and then to see whether we recursively look up to see whether the current component. I'm not sure whether there's an API, but I think the general idea that we can do is we can check whether the current element is an anchor tag. If not, we just keep going up to its parent all the way until we hit, like, say, the document, the root nodes. Then we know that whether it is within a link or not, right? So let me quickly do a Google search, check if element is within link tag JavaScript. You can do contains, or you can just keep finding a parent, right? I think this example over here is keep finding a parent. I think contains will work if you know what you're looking for. So it's like the parent.contains a child element, whether it contains that element, but we don't know what the link tag is that you click on. So I don't think this work. So we're gonna recursively find its parent. I think this is the accepted answer. So we're gonna try to write it out ourselves. So I'm gonna call it find anchor tag element. So if element, so how do we know it's an anchor tag? We can use the node. So here is the HTML element dot name, tag name, yeah, equals to A. I think it's a capital A. If it's this, then we're gonna return this current element. Else, if else we're gonna return find anchor tag element dot parent node. What is parent nodes again? This is node. Okay, I think it's node. The type is called node. Does not have tag name on node. I'm not really sure how to write this. Okay, I think we can call parent element. Then this is a HTML element. I'm bad at TypeScript and like what is the HTML element and what is HTML node. Do enlighten me if you know the difference or anything where I can read up on that. So here I can do this, but this will recursively find. I need to also figure a way to break this this cycle, this recursive function. If it can find, then it returns, of course, but if you click on something that's not, then you will recursively keep going up to the parent element. So I'm gonna say, actually I'm not really sure what will happen if you hit the root node. Let's see. I think HTML parent element. Returns the HTML element. Okay, so one day it will return the HTML element. So let's try and see whether we HTML element. How do we know if the current element is a HTML element? So I'm gonna try and see. Let's see. I'm gonna try and see the tag name. Is it something that we can? Okay, so probably the tag name is HTML. Okay, I guess fair enough. So if element.tag name is HTML, then we're gonna return null, right? If it's A, then return elements. If not, we just keep finding up. So this is our base case. If we hit all the way up to HTML, then we're just gonna return null. So it's not within a link. So here, link anchor tag equals to find anchor tag Click target. And I'm bad at this. As HTML node element. Okay, this works. Okay, I'm not really sure the difference. So here we're gonna click target is this, and then anchor tag is this. Let's console out and see what we get. So console. Okay, let's clear this. Let's try refresh. So click target is h1, anchor tag is null. Click target is a, anchor tag is a, which is correct. If we click on the inner element, click target is span, anchor tag is a. Yes, we finally found our anchor tag. So with the anchor tag, this is actually the variable a that we had just now. So let me uncomment all this code. Let's see. Did I uncomment too much? Okay, I think this one extra. So this is a anchor tag is this one. So have the target, then return. So anchor tag href, target location, target path name, and then we do this, right? So we register click event listeners on all the anchor tags, right? So when are we removing this click event listeners from the window? Well, we never, right? Because the moment that as soon as you're on this screen, when you navigate around, you always will listens to this. Oh, hold on. I think we need to if anchor tag. If not, then we're gonna return as well. If it's a null, then also return because it's not a link. We don't have to do anything, right? So or else your anchor.target will be reading properties of null. Okay, let's refresh. So we never remove the event listeners because this routing library is gonna be running through the entirety of your application, and the only time when you need to remove the event listeners is when you navigate away from this page. Then actually the page is being discarded. Browser knows to do the cleanup for you, right? You don't have to say on maybe window before leave, you try to remove event listeners. You don't have to do that. So let's refresh. Let's try to click on any link. We can go to A. Yep, client side navigation. We can click on here. We go back, click on A, also navigates. We can hide the link, show the link again, click on it. We are still doing client-side navigation. So basically, we've cleaned up the click event. Right, so we finally can't click on links and go back and forth, and we can show the link dynamically. We even can add links dynamically, and all the links that are created conditionally, dynamically throughout the lifetime of the application will always be having this click event listeners that being intercepted and do the client-side navigation rather than a full browser navigation. Right. Of course, you can have ways to get opt out of this. So we're gonna show you quickly on how we can opt out of this. Right. One way of opting out is having an attribute called target. Right, in this case, if you have this target attribute where you are, where you're going to be with a target to blank, then it is opt out. You don't really navigate on client side. If you don't have this check, then even if your target is blank, you're still navigating, which is wrong, right? So we can also add another way of opting out. Say maybe we can have a data attribute called no routing. We can have something like this, or maybe if we are building a meta framework like svelte-kit, we can say svelte-kit no routing, something like this. Then we can check if we have this attribute. Say if anchor tag has attribute, then we don't do routing, right? So let me refresh. This one opens a new target, correct? But this one, we add if you inspect element, you have this no routing, svelte-kit no routing attribute, right? So if you click on this, you see a browser navigation, right? I'm not sure where you can see it. Let's focus our attention. Let's refresh. Okay, so here, when you click on this, it navigates, right? So it's an opting out of no routing. Of course, we're not building a meta framework called svelte-kit, so I'm gonna just call it no routing. Okay, with a dash. So here I'm just call it no routing. And that's it. We're able to intercept click event on the link, and we're also able to opt out from here. So we use history API to change our URL, which means we have in our browser stack, if you long click over here, you see that in the history we can go back to the previous page. If we try to go back to one of the, here, we click to B, and we try to go back from here. When you click back, you realize that yes, we go back to the previous history, but then the URL has changed, but then the screen does not change. Why? Because when you go back, you're not clicking on any link, so our match route function is not called. So we probably have to listen on something on the window or something, so that we know when this happens, we need to call match route again to match the route, right? And that's what we're gonna do in the next video.